seat, please. All right, this first meeting is scheduled as a workshop, so I will go ahead and call that to order. Ms. Samec, first grade report card.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much. I'm going to defer to Stephanie Bordelon, K-5 ELA specialist. Thank you.
Good evening, Madam President, members of the board, Dr. Aguilar. I am Stephanie Bordelon. I'm the ELA academic specialist. So thanks for giving me a little time tonight to update you on the changes to the first grade report card in ELA. You do have a folder in front of you that has a copy of the PowerPoint as well as some supporting documents, so that might be helpful. So our current reality is that we report out to parents on instructional reading level, fluency, retelling and comprehension, phonics, word attack skills, and writing. So those areas that you see with an asterisk, we have updated the rubric used to report out to parents in those areas in the past 2 to 3 years. As you can see, it provides parents pretty limited information, and it's not reflective of all that is taught in first grade or that we expect our first graders to learn. So in its current form, it's been in place for a number of years, and there's been some voiced requests for change. So to make a change, we formed a committee. Our committee consisted of first grade teachers, administrators, and the ELA team. I do have some representatives of the committee here tonight. So I have Alicia Caligari and Megan Guidry from Austin. They're both first grade teachers. I also have Miss Jamila Hicks, the principal at Falk, and Miss Irma Trosclair, the school improvement director, administrator. So through our committee meetings, there was a series of recommendations developed. We shared all recommendations with elementary administrators, and the elementary administrators took the information back to their staff and sought input to provide back to the ELA content team. There was overall support in moving forward with the recommended changes, and we did make some small tweaks based on the feedback from the schools, from Mrs. Samec, from Ms. Trosclair. So what are those desired changes? What are we going to do a little differently? So we wanted the ability to indicate to parents their child's progress in a developmentally appropriate manner. There was a strong desire to begin to utilize webcams just as we do in grades 2 and up. They wanted the report card to be a little more standardized across the district. They also requested guidance in using district provided materials and some supporting documents to help them track student progress to be able to effectively mark the report card. So the outcome that came out of lots of committee meetings and discussions was to utilize the OSNU system through webcams. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that. O stands for outstanding, S for satisfactory, N for needs improvement, and U for unsatisfactory. And there's corresponding percentages that are attached to each of those letters, and that's all outlined through pupil progression. The report card will be generated through webcams, just like in the older grades, and then math is planning a shift to utilizing the OSNU system as well. We also work to identify the most crucial standards to master in first grade and to track mastery of these standards over the course of the year, utilizing materials that all teachers can access and are currently utilizing. We also developed some tools teachers can use to track performance, and we also have a parent information component. So the standards piece looks a little bit like this, and I know it's small, so you do have a copy in your folder. But we whittled down the first grade standards, and the teacher said, yes, let us dive into this. These are the most important standards to master in first grade to ensure success into second grade. And you can see we've identified reading standards, writing standards, reading foundation, and language standards. And these will be marked based on a rubric of 4-3-2-1. And there's a couple areas where we'll actually enter some different information. We'll still continue to report out this child's reading level, And then when we report out fluency, we'll actually give the number of words a student can read fluently. Those are both part of the standards as well, but it's really hard to assess those against a rubric when we have hard targets that we're striving for. So how it works is that that attachment that you have in front of you will be attached to the report card. We'll print it on NCR paper so teachers, parents, and students can see the growth over time, so we can watch how the students develop over the course of the year. The most growth is expected in first grade, and this attachment, in addition to the OSNU, will provide parents with a more detailed picture of their child's performance in ELA in first grade. So that's it in a nutshell. Questions?
So I take this will be very easy for parents to understand, correct?
Absolutely.
And the other question is, and I think it's plain and simple. This is a grading standard developed by those that will use it and the experts who deal with it.
Yes.
So it's going to be a much better system.
Yes. Yes, teachers, administrators, district level folks, all involved in the process.
So we empowered the individuals who actually are going to use it to develop it.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
Yes, sir.
Perfect.
All right, any questions or comments from members of the public? All right, any other from the board members? Ms. Samec?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. I just want to thank Stephanie Bordelon and all the committee members. And I really do appreciate the way that they came with a recommendation. They did listen to the principal's feedback. They did make some changes. And it is, I think, much more prescriptive information for parents to understand for children who are 5, 6, 7 years old as to what their deficiencies are and to monitor the growth of the children throughout the year. I do want to say that some of these may be reflected as a needing to improve early because, well, again, we're talking about the mastery of first grade. So if a child's mastered first grade in the first 9 weeks, that would be like, wow. So I just want to make sure everyone kind of understands that there is a little bit of a transition that we're talking about the standards being mastered. Thank you very much.
All right, so will this come back to the full board for a vote, or will it just be instituted for the next school year?
It will be part of the pupil progression, and it will be instituted.
All right, and will there be something similar for the other grade levels in elementary school, appropriate for those developmental stages?
We're actually going to start to work on this for each grade level as we move up so that it's progressive.
All right, and they'll be consistent with each other?
Yes, ma'am.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
I think that's all, Ms. Bordelon, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and that concludes the workshop. The next meeting will start at 5:30.